All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the July 11th edition of the Product Analytics Group Sync. We'll start to share my screen, airport internet permitting. We can go ahead and do the board review. I'm just going to go ahead and get the story for logging still the same, something we want to pursue, but until we have a clear path forward in terms of what infrastructure wants out of our logging solution, we're going to just hold on that. My focus is still remaining on getting out to production, or at least being able to handle customer data. So at this point, I'm going to be escalating and making, working to getting us an exemption to be able to launch and host red data. In the meantime, both product analytics and analytics instrumentation continue to work to do security hardening. I think in terms of improving management of environment-specific configurations, I might have said this before, but I think we've already wrapped that up. So all of the other issues, apart from documentation, are unassigned. I don't believe Lorraine's on the call, so I'll just move on to what is assigned. James, is there anything you wanted to discuss with regards to the user scoring map, apart from the agenda point, I think, regarding this?
No, I think the agenda point will cover it. That should get wrapped up before the end of the milestone. So we're in good shape there. I can move that over into dev, I guess. Sure.
Yeah. That is the in progress or the equivalent of, so that works for you. Cool. And then we've got a follow up for dismissing the analytics panel, but it's not on the call, so I think we can go ahead. Move on. Kevin's also not on the call, so unless there's an update that anyone else can cover as far as the right prototypes are concerned.
Yeah, I can give a quick update there.
Sure.
We did another round of interviews unmoderated on Thursday and Friday last week. I tagged those interviews yesterday. Kevin wants to do one more round, combining two of the steps to see how that plays out. And then we should be getting close to being wrapped up and being able to move into implementation on the custom dashboard flow, I think.
Great. Exciting stuff there. All right, moving on to planning breakdown. We've got editing the error state to panels, which I believe has, is in planning breakdown because the design is complete. So that is available to pick up for anyone that's looking to do a front-end enhancement. We have nothing in blocked, so we'll just move on to ready for development. We have an issue, I think that was pulled in recently, for hiding analytics dashboards for users without access. The context here being that the idea is that eventually the shared dashboard listing will house multiple dashboards, not only for product analytics, optimize and observability, but also the other dashboards that exist in the product, which if we remember back to the original conversation with the left menu sidebar, was part of the reason why we came up with the concept for the shared dashboard listing. But until then, we want to make sure that if you don't have access to anything that's going to be there, that you don't see it. So that's ready for assignment as well. We've also got a follow-up for adding missing trailing breadcrumbs for analytics dashboard pages. Rod, is there anything you wanted to call out here?
Something I'm going to pick up after the issue I'm working on. If anyone comes along and has nothing to do, feel free to take it off me. It's a very simple, basic weight of one task, just for some tech debt tidy up, bit of refactoring on the work we just did.
Awesome. And then you also have the next issue for in-dev, if you want to tell us what's going on with the issue for Cube not returning 0 values for given date ranges.
Very fiddly, not highly ideal. I have created a follow-up issue after talking with Max and Dennis when we were in London the other day to upstream this to Cube's ClickHouse driver, but for now, as a sort of patch, I'm implementing a transformer on the Cube proxy level to add that data, the 0 values for the entire date range, not just the parts for the data we actually have. It's nearly in review. I have one more spec to finish off, so hopefully I should have that done at the end of the day, depending on how the kids go. If not, it'll be first thing in the morning.
Great. Cool. And then Helen's got an issue for creating a configuration screen for configuring product analytics, specifically post initial setup. We're moving this one back to dev to address some structural changes we need to make. So that is the last state that we have. Looks like there are
so it went to Jan for maintaining review yesterday, but we both, me and Jan both agreed that it'd probably be better to split it up because by that point it'd hit just over 800 lines of code, just because of the various changes that have taken place throughout the MR review process. So Elwin has split it into 2 separate MRs. So I need to actually review the second MR and pass it back to Jan for final approval. So it's still going on.
Very cool. Thanks for the update. Hello, you have a confidential issue for security improvements. Is there anything that you can share with us on this, or shall I pause the recording, or how would you like to move forward?
Okay, should I say now, or
would you like me to pause it, or?
I think we don't need, because like it is for the ClickHouse cluster, which is not in production. Yeah, so basically I'm working on limiting the requests to ClickHouse cluster. Yeah, I did it, actually have a branch with working solution, but I'm still looking for ways maybe we can do it in a better way, because I'm now hard coding the node IPs from another cluster, the source cluster. So that's like in progress, yeah.
Gotcha, all right. And then we have an issue in dev without an assignee, or exceptions not being properly handled in the Snowplow product analytics worker. Not sure if Max created the issue, but he's, okay, Alan. I think you're working on this one?
Yeah, I grabbed it. I'll assign myself now.
No worries. Anything that you'd like to share regarding this issue?
Not really. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward, so.
Alrighty, then moving on to in review. Halil, is there anything you'd like to discuss or call out as far as a Roomba related backend code?
Yes, so it's so I already merged another MR yesterday, but I think there will be 2 MRs to just like make the review a bit easier. So it will be during the next days merged. Yeah.
Sounds good. And then we have the displaying encrypted fields as password fields in the admin settings, which is in review. Rob, I suppose you don't. I'm not sure if you were reviewing this one or not. Do you know anything about this?
I have been involved in all of Elwin's MRs, I believe.
Okay.
In regards to all of them, they are very close. The dehydrated one, for instance, the Save Dehydrated Dashboard object, I am doing the maintainer review. So they are nearly there. There's nothing in particular to say about them other than they've been a bit fiddly, taken a bit of time to get through all the various review processes.
Got it. Cool. And then we have nothing in verification. I will quickly check the bookmark for fetching custom dashboard files from an empty repo. Have we really? Oh, I mean,
Surely we've in the one I didn't attend, or did no one attend that one?
Okay, fetching custom dashboard creates an error. Okay, wow. Yeah, we've got quite a number of issues completed since our last sync then. Live clusters and Snowplow support for bringing on cluster. Okay, so Alan, is there anything you'd like to, I feel like we've covered these issues before.
Yeah, we covered these last time.
Yeah, so I apologize. I have the wrong bookmark.
Yeah, some of these are several weeks old.
Yeah, the switchover is already done, so that bookmark is way out of date. All right, so we've got a couple for front-end improvements for the dashboard designer.
And that dev and staging, that was the last time I was in this meeting 2 weeks ago. I remember you moving it across.
Okay, then let's just start from these top 3 then. You already called out a follow-up for this, but was there anything you wanted to call out for the missing breadcrumbs?
The solution isn't ideal. we're injecting onto the Hamel breadcrumbs. It's the way we're doing it right now. We're waiting on Foundation's work with creating a breadcrumbs Ruby view component and various other GitLab UI tasks in the hopes that we can move this away from that injection approach into a more stable approach, hopefully using a shared view component or some other derivative. But it does work.
Alrighty. Yeah, we're doing what we can to get it done. So yeah, some long-term solutions for sure in store. And then we've got 2 issues from Jan for analytics dashboards alerts remain after the user leaves the page, and the being able to fetch available visualizations from the backend into the dashboard designer. So great to see those get completed, but yeah, unless anyone has anything they'd like to add for those, I think that about concludes our billboard review. I will update the bookmark, and then James, I think you have the next topic.
Cool. I just wanted to create some time and space if anybody had questions or wanted to talk synchronously about the direction update that I mentioned yesterday in the section call. Just better connecting that longer term vision of GitLab as an analytics platform or a really usage platform, understanding what users are doing and how effective the code we're shipping is, back to what we're doing today, which is really quantitative analysis on events and page views, things like that. So if there were any questions, wanted to make time and space to answer those.
No, I like the new direction approach. It gives us plenty of scope for expanding our feature sets without having to rewrite everything from scratch all over again. And I think is good grounding. I'm happy with it.
Cool.
Well, thanks for doing that again, James.
Yeah.
I think it's a great update for the where we're at this thus far. So.
Awesome. I'll be looking to get that merged in the next day or so, but I'll leave it open another 24 hours. If there's any other thoughts or comments on the MR, leave them there. That's going to be the best way to get my attention. Cool. Moving on to number 3, the user story map for usage stuff. So thank you everybody who dropped tasks into that. That was really helpful in kind of some expansive thinking about what are the tasks that a user would have in understanding what their usage is. It also opened up a lot more questions for me and I think Kevin to explore in talking with our friends in fulfillment about how is the user going to kind of understand they need to go look at usage, what's going to trigger that, because I think it's a different use case from what I'm used to seeing for someone who's going to look at usage quota of I can't start a pipeline because I'm out of CI minutes. I need to figure out what's going on. That's kind of the first step that I'm used to. That's not probably going to be the case for product analytics. Instead, it will be a, you've used all of this over the course of the month. Here's potentially a bill. Now they're going to go look and see, whoa, what's going on here? So just a different approach to the use case, but definitely looking at all those tasks really helped expose that. Assumptions that we need to go validate. We go start building some of that with fulfillment. So that's been really great. But wanted to get some feedback from the team or answer any questions about the flow so far. I updated it a little more yesterday. I'll continue to do so today to kind of break things out towards a first slice with a learning goal. And that might be research, that might be build. And then we'll go about creating the issues to go build the first view of usage for product analytics, specifically in what we're calling the managed event cluster, where folks are sending events that we're going to consume for a process for them.
So, sorry, the event cluster, sorry, I was curious about the name for that.
That's the terminology that I've been using for the ClickHouse cluster, everything that stood up today. Everyone will be using that until we get to bring your own cluster. So the way that we're approaching the billing is probably going to be, and this is still TBD, that you pay if you're using that event cluster for us to process the events. That's very in line with what the rest of the industry is doing and charging by events or users that are tracked. We're still TBD on that and what the pricing is going to be. But it'll be a slightly different model than what we've done to date at GitLab.
Do we want to then consolidate the naming as far as what we've been referring to as the product analytics stack and start to refer to that as an event cluster then? Or
I'm happy to change my language. I haven't put it down in stone anywhere by any means.
sorry. So you're fine to change how we refer to it, or do you want us to change the analytics stack naming?
I can call it the analytics stack. Just
It doesn't
yeah.
doesn't matter to me. I just want to make sure if we're referring to the same thing that it doesn't have more
we
than
are.
one name.
I'll change my verbiage to analytics stack so that we're all using the same language. And as we get closer to GA, if that needs to change, then we can make a holistic change. But I'll make a switch to use the wording that we've already been using to call it the product analytics stack.
Okay. I'm not opposed to event cluster. I mean, it does make a lot of sense. I just think we need to make sure that, like, in terms of performing queries and reading from it from the cube side, that is what we're happy with. But anyways, I'm not super. I don't care either way. I just want to make sure that, yeah, if we were going to refer to it, and it's got one name. So yeah, thanks. Rob, you had something.
Firstly, I appreciate James, you setting up that moral user story map and giving clear direction and instruction to what we needed to do with it. That was very helpful. In terms of moral usage, works fine. Feels like a really nice tool for getting faults just dumped onto a page. The one downside I have is I think product and design get mural accounts, but engineering doesn't. So I don't get any notifications or any kind of indication that changes happen. So I'm very much looking to you and Kevin to tell me or us more broadly, this has changed. We need you to do this by then. This is what you need to do, because otherwise I'm not going to remember to constantly go back and keep an eye on it and look at it, because I don't remember much normally. So yeah, I think more broadly, I'm looking at waiting to hear what the next steps are. When do I need to get back into that user story map and start providing input and feedback based upon those discussions? Cool. So I think it is going to be a good place for just getting those ideas down and starting to narrow that focus.
Okay, let's get feedback. I'll add to my process more pings, because yeah, I know that not everyone has an account in there that's going to notify them if there's a comment or a question or a change, to make sure there's check-ins. And I'll try to do some better readouts async for the team through Loom or quick unfiltered videos, so that you can get an update that way as well.
Yeah, thank you. Do we want to start, for those without an account, do we want to start tagging the responses we give with our names like we're doing in the Google Doc, just to allow, I guess we don't need anonymity, anonymity. I can't say, you know what I mean.
You don't need to hide behind your keyboard.
Once we've got that, now we've got all the dumb ideas and good ideas and all the other ideas on the page, we can, I guess we should start making it easier to see who's conversing and what they're saying. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be helpful for some of the questions that I had, because I did comment on some tasks and I wasn't sure who had submitted them.
Okay, I'll start prefixing all my comments with my name then, just to make it clear.
Awesome, thank you. Cool, it looks like, Dennis, you have 0.3C.
Yeah, so I was just curious, like, we're working on the user story mapping, and you were saying, like, we're trying to figure out what to research or build. I believe you've already started talking with fulfillment, but I guess, like, at what point do we kind of like present to like them, all right, like, here's what we want, and what can fulfillment provide, or what, and then what do we have to do to kind of help like meet them in the middle?
Yeah. So two fronts there. One is this usage part. And I don't know what's going to live in customers dot. I don't know what's going to live exactly in GitLab. I started the conversation in the fulfillment Slack channel today. I'm going to have a coffee chat with the product manager, and then I'll start an issue outlining some of the work that we need to do. So that's kind of one side of things. The other side is then the billing and the pricing side. Where we're at in that process is that I've pretty much got a pricing proposal wrapped up. I'm going to review with Sam and Justin next, and then we'll review with the pricing team, so that we can move forward. Then another round of conversations with fulfillment then happens at that point of how do we work within Zora to get that billing done? What do we need to do? on the product analytics stack side to count those widgets that we're charging based on. The nice thing is none of it really needs to be done until general availability. So
yeah. For sure. Yeah.
And we could go build some of the usage stuff during the beta, which would be ideal because then we can get some user feedback about it. Of hey,
yeah,
let's walk you through a scenario. If you got a bill, where are you going to go look and validate some assumptions that way, and what they would be looking for, and the kind of use cases they would want us to support, in addition to then what an invoice might look like.
for sure. And as we touched on before with beta, that'll be at the same time we're doing load testing and really trying to understand the costs and having real figures behind that. So it should dovetail nicely once we start to build some of that functionality, and then make it available to as we prep for GA. That we have all those questions answered. But yeah, definitely great to hear we're already starting the conversation with fulfillment. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be touching base with them quite often at this point on. So
yeah. Cool. That wraps up my agenda items. Does anyone have any show and tell or anything else they'd like to share?
Not unless you'd like to stare at Kubernetes configs. I'm going to answer no for everyone. All right, then that wraps things up. It's good to see everybody. Happy Tuesday, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening for you. And hope to see everyone again soon. Bye-bye.
Ciao.